Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new video of StarCraft II strategy. Today is a really awesome day. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost, the WCS replay pack has been released with all the replays in StarCraft II. No, but seriously, the replays are out. So what we're gonna do today is actually take a look at Jaedongs Zerg vs Protoss. Now you might have not followed StarCraft II in the last few months and you'd be like, Jaedongs Zerg vs Protoss is horrible, why would we look at that? That apparently is your voice, by the way. I don't actually know if you sound that like that, but... Well, to you I say, sir, last week, there was this tournament called the WCS Finals that you might have heard of, and basically Jaedong destroyed every single Zerg vs Protoss that was there. Period. He basically beat everyone, so in today's game we're gonna take a look at a game that he played versus Rain. Now for anyone wondering, Rain is also pretty much regarded as either the best, if not like the second best Protoss in the entire world. And he is basically up there with the likes of Podington, you know, like the really high level Protoss players. Now today we're not really gonna take a look at something like the build order exactly that he was going for, because honestly Jaedong plays super standard. What we are mostly going to take a look at is how he deals with like the triple Stargate with Colossus production. Personally, I've had a lot of trouble with that, but after I saw Jaedong play, I actually managed to basically play a lot better than I used to. So let's jump straight into the game and hopefully we can figure out exactly what it is that makes Jaedong so ridiculously good all of a sudden in Zerg vs Protoss. Okay, so for the beginning of the game, we're just gonna really you know, rush through it a little bit to sort of check out what is going on. So here in the bottom right corner, we have Jaedong spawning as the blue Zerg, and his opponent for this game, like I already mentioned, is gonna be none other than Rain. I believe he's in Team SK Telecom 1, and of course Jaedong is in Team Evil Geniuses. And basically for the early part of the game, really nothing special happens at all. Jaedong opens up with a spawning pool into a hatchery at the low ground, and he basically continues really standard for most of the early game. Now, if you can take a look right now at this overload path, he will be able to scout the natural of Rain right away, so he will recognize, okay, it is going to be a quick expansion by my opponent. That's pretty much the only thing that is really important to know for now. So Jaedong does decide to go for the standard, around 4-minute third base, and he's basically gonna open up gasless, gonna make like 3 queens, and he's probably gonna go for the 6-minute gases, which is completely standard right here. Okay, so far, so good. If you don't know this opener just yet, you might as well check out another video really quickly, because this is the most basic opener versus a quick expansion from your Protoss opponent. So this is the Overlord that went straight from the main base to the natural, and he uses that to basically go to the little high ground, and what does he see? He sees a Stargate being down right away. He also sees more gases being taken, so Jaedong can know right now, okay, I don't really need to worry about any sort of gateway aggression so much, don't really need to worry about any kind of quick Immortal Sentry all-in or anything fancy like that. So he knows that there's a Stargate out, and that it's most likely going to be something like Phoenixes. Phoenixes are super duper standard right now. Pretty much 90% of the Protoss players is going for that, so Jaedong responds pretty normal as well. He's gonna go for a lair, he's gonna go for Zerging speed, he's gonna go for more drones and more gases. So far it is a really good reaction to the Stargate opener that he scouted. Now, the real funny move, I guess, that he makes is that he goes for a really planned out build order. He's gonna put down all these sport crawlers. He's actually putting out 2 in each mineral line, which is a lot. Like, some players will try and get away with maybe 1 or so, but he's actually gonna put just 2 in every mineral line, and he's also gonna open up with a Hydralisk Den as soon as he hit lair. So far, it was a super standard opener, and he got 6-minute double gas up, which is super standard as well. And then as soon as he hit the lair attack, which he spent his first 100 gas up, he actually goes for a Hydralisk Den. Now, normally you would pretty much always see Zerg players go for the muscular augments first, because the muscular augments allows your Hydralisk to move off creep a lot easier. But Jaedong in all his Zerg vs Protoss games never really went for this upgrade first. He always went for the Hydralisk ranged upgrade first. Now what we're gonna see him do is basically hit max saturation, as you can see right now on 3 bases with 6 gases, and he's gonna make only Hydralisk. That is the thing that he's gonna do. Now he's still scouting around and he recognizes, okay, there's a relatively early third base up for my opponent, so he's gonna do a little bit of a timing push. And this is a little bit of an awkward timing push, because normally you would not really want to move with Hydralisk off creep. But considering that Jaedong scouted it was a Stargate opener, and even though he's seeing that there's a robotics facility out right now with a Colossus in production, he doesn't really care about that. He's still gonna hit right when he hits Hydralisk ranged. Now you will be able to see how much damage this actually does, and he does get slightly lucky with this, but this is one of the easiest timing pushes to execute. Up until this very point, pretty much everyone that is watching this video can execute this. Like, there's no specific part whatsoever that is super duper hard. It's just a matter of macro. Now, like I mentioned, he opened up really standard. He's just gonna get a Roachborn as a follow-up and a 4th base, and he's gonna take early gases, but so far, it is something that everyone can do. Now, the reason why he goes for this push is once again because he saw the early Stargate, and he doesn't really care that there's gonna be Colossus out, because he knows it's not gonna be anything more than at most 2, but most likely 1. Now, it does turn out that Rain was chrono boosting out the Colossus, so there is gonna be the second one a little bit earlier. But can you imagine how this fight would go at this very point in the game with just solid macro? If you take a look at these armies right now, turns out that Rain only has 2 sentries. He actually has very few sentries because he was spending so much gas earlier on this Stargate right here. And he's then following it up with a lot of gas spent at the Colossus. So if you take a look at how this fight is gonna go, now he does get a little bit lucky right here, I give him that, by picking off a big Colossus right there. But he does manage to do a whole lot of damage just by this little timing push. And this is one of the timing pushes that is basically not really heard of that often, but it's really important to start doing this sort of stuff. I actually wasn't doing this sort of stuff myself, and it turns out as soon as you do this, it basically allows you to just crush your Protoss opponent half the time already just with this push. Now obviously it is going to be none other than Rain, who is one of the best Protoss players in the world, so there will need to be some sort of follow-up. And as you can see, this is the scary transitions that all Zerg players that I know at the very least are struggling with. It is actually the triple Stargate with Colossus production behind it. So what he's gonna do is go for a whole lot of Void Rays with Colossus, and the amount of damage that that army can dish out is really scary. Now Jaedong does know about this. He actually did get a glimpse of this gateway, or of this Stargate finishing up. So he knows the army composition that Rain is going for, and he also realizes that the 3rd base was a little bit early. So how is he gonna respond to this? Because normally this is the position where I would pretty much lose the game. Like, I would be very uncomfortable engaging a Protoss right now, because what do I go for? Do I go for Roach Hydra? Do I go for a Mutalisk switch? Do I go for maybe a lot of Zerglings and try to end the game right now? What do I do? Well, it turns out that Jaedong is actually going for something that's a little bit funky. He basically follows this this first timing push with the Hydralisk ranged upgrade. He follows that up with a really quick hive. So if we go back a little tiny bit, we can see that he goes for a super quick hive right here. Which is when he's moving out across the map with his Hydralisk for the first time. He's actually going to start his hive up right away. Now, why is he doing this? Well, first of all, he probably is anticipating this sort of a Stargate switch that is gonna happen in a little bit. And he knows his opponent, Rain, went for a quick 3rd base and is gonna follow it up with Colossus because he scouted that. So he's anticipating a big Stargate switch or a big Colossus play. And how do you counter either of those? Well, you basically counter them with, well, you might have guessed it, Vipers. Vipers basically can just pull the unit into your Hydralisk army. The thing is that you can't allow your opponent to get like 6, 7, or maybe even more Void Rays up than that, because it will just be too much for your Hydralisk to handle, or for your Vipers to handle. Now what does he do? He instantly goes for this little bit of a push after scouting that there was a relatively early 3rd base up for his opponent, and he follows it up with a quick hive while going for Hydras and Zerglings. So if you take a look at how this fight is gonna go, well, once again, he does a little bit of damage. He basically thins out the army that Rain could have, reducing the sentry number a little bit, killing a Colossus here and there. And how is he gonna follow it up? Well, he's gonna follow it up with a really quick Viper push. Now, it is cool to realize that he actually didn't really sacrifice any of his Hydralisk at all. He might have lost a few, but he didn't just run them in there. He saved most of them. Now, what does that allow him to do? Well, it does allow him to go for a big Roach follow-up. So after this big push, he's gonna make a hive. He's gonna make 4 Vipers that he's basically charging up right now. And he's gonna start making a whole lot of Roaches. And what is he gonna do? Like I mentioned, he's gonna go for a second timing push. And this is the big push that is really interesting to me. If you let the Protoss sit back too long, and as you can see, there's already 7 Void Rays out right now, but if you let him sit back too long, there will be 10 Void Rays. There will maybe even be like 16 Void Rays if you would have waited like 2 or 3 more minutes. At that point, it's pretty much just impossible to kill the Protoss army. Now let's see how this fight goes. Let's actually slow it down a little bit. As you can see, he is going to be throwing in all these big Colossus units, and the Hydralisk will just be able to clean up all the Void Rays that are in the sky. So as you can see, he is going to be super duper duper aggressive after hitting max saturation on 3 bases. Sure, he got a 4th base up, but he really only got that one for the gas count. And he's just gonna go attack over and over and over again, just not allowing Rain to ever get a big army up. And Rain, GG's, out of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button below. Also, if you're interested in any of the replays, feel free to click the link in the description. It will take you straight to the official WCS page by Blizzard. So you don't need to worry about anything. And it will contain all the replays from this season and the previous one. And apparently all the seasons are gonna come as well. Well, thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. We'll see you in the next video. Bye! Also, all links to the replays and all that sort of stuff is also in the... I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like in the description below. How do you leave a like in the description? Also, check the link in the description. Today we're gonna be discussing Scarlet's Zerg vs Terran. Now, I gotta admit, I'm a little bit of a Scarlet fanboy. I can't help it. Been following her for the last few years.